Kennywood is home to 3 unique classic wooden coasters. In today's video, all 3 coasters will be facing off in one epic triple face-off coaster Truel. Each wooden coaster has its own unique niche that separates it from the others. Let's find out which coaster will stand victorious and what 2 other roller coasters will fall behind. As always, let's start off with the ride's stats. Looking over the ride's stats, Thunderbolt takes a clean sweep, earning itself 2 points. That's a half point for each stat. Though I am going to award Jackrabbit an honorary half point for having the most height variant between the ride height and drop. As we see, Jackrabbit is 40 feet tall but manages to pull off a 70-foot drop. Thunderbolt stands 70 feet tall and pulls off a 90-foot drop, which is still great. Racer, I am also going to award an honorary half point since it's technically the longest coaster of them all. Since it's a Mobius track, meaning the ride is one long track, its actual length is 4,500 feet. Though you would never experience this full track length on one single ride. Ride View. Continuing on with tradition, this next category for today's Truel is Ride View, and the clear winner here is Thunderbolt. Jackrabbit really doesn't have much of a view at all. Racer does have somewhat of a view, but you're mostly looking at like the backstage storage sheds and such. Thunderbolt, though, has a lot of nice views throughout the ride. The dive down the valley is such a cool view, especially if your descent is lucky enough to be synced with Phantom's Revenge, as it dives down the valley at the same time. The top of the lift hill isn't much to look at, but the drop back down into the valley allows you to see a ways down to the river. Ride Intensity. Racer is probably the least intense roller coaster of the 3. It doesn't really offer much in laterals or airtime, so it's not winning this category. Jackrabbit, which doesn't have any laterals either, does have a great moment of airtime during its signature double down drop. It's a pretty intense moment, but overall not enough to beat out Thunderbolt, which is going to win this category. The laterals are quite strong on this ride, strong enough that you are required to have a riding buddy. This way you won't be thrown violently to one end of the train. Thunderbolt doesn't have any intense airtime like Jackrabbit, which is going to lead us into our next category, airtime. Racer once again is at the bottom of the barrel for this category. It has no airtime. Okay, well there might be some airtime, very little airtime, but whatever you experience is completely forgettable. Thunderbolt does have a little airtime, but you're only going to experience it depending on where you sit in the train. The first car, 3rd row, is where you're going to find the most airtime on this ride, but again, it's not that much. Jackrabbit will win this point as it has the best airtime moment, hands up, compared to the other 2 wooden coasters. That double down is so much fun. If you sit in the back row, you're flying out of your seat. It's also a nice, long, sustained moment of airtime. Jackrabbit earns this point. Originality. All 3 coasters are original in their own way. Jackrabbit, the oldest of the 3, is revolutionary for the way it takes advantage of the terrain. That double down was also probably the most intense airtime you could experience on a coaster back in 1920. Racer was unique because it was a racing roller coaster. I'm sure if we traveled back in time to 1927, we would be hard-pressed to find other racing roller coasters. Now, there were a few other racing coasters back then. Actually, some were even somewhat close, like in Ohio and other areas of Pennsylvania, so it's not the most unique, but still uncommon for its time. Finally, we have Thunderbolt, which when it first opened in 1924 as the Pippin coaster, was all about laterals, something you didn't find too often. Overall, I think all 3 coasters will tie for this category, so in that case, I don't award any points for this round. Best Drop. Thunderbolt features the biggest drop of them all. Racer has the smallest drop of the 3, but the one in the middle ground is going to win this round. Jackrabbit's double down is too much fun. It's definitely not the biggest drop, but it's the most fun by far. Now, what makes the big drop of Thunderbolt exciting is the view and the way it interacts with Phantom's Revenge, but other than that, it just doesn't compete with a double down on Jackrabbit. I could literally ride Jackrabbit all day long and not get bored of that double down drop. Ride interaction. Since Racer's true highlight is how it interacts with the opposing side, I had to bring up this category. And for obvious reasons, it's going to win this category. Racer is best experienced with a group of people you can compete against as you both race towards the finish. Also, during the turnaround spots, you can sort of reach out and give each other like a side five, I guess. As already mentioned, Thunderbolt has some interactions with Phantom's Revenge, though not that much, and every dispatch will be different. Jackrabbit has like none, so yeah, Racer gets this point. Alright, our final tally comes to Racer with 1.5, Jackrabbit 2.5, and Thunderbolt with 4 points, which makes Thunderbolt our champion. What I love about Kennywood is how each of their wooden coasters are different. If you're looking for a fun, interactive attraction, Racer is your ride. Want some great airtime? Hop on to Jackrabbit. And if you're looking for something a little bit more intense, Thunderbolt is your answer. So Thunderbolt may be winning in today's coaster fight. It's not my favorite Woody at the park. Nope, that's Jackrabbit. I love Jackrabbit. I would love to marathon this ride. Its double down is that great. I know I said that many times already, but hopefully that's a reinforcement to tell you how great it actually is. Well, thank you for watching today's video. What coaster do you think should have won today's fight? Let me know in the comments. Also, please subscribe, check out my other content, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.